more can I say?
Top Billin. Top Billin. We are coming off another dang loss to Ohio State. Now listen, it's frustrating, no doubt about that. Season is still ahead of us. Win all your games. Let the chips fall where they may. And we shall see how that goes there. But with this one, definitely frustrating from the standpoint of not really seeing Penn State be who Penn State has been. Now, a lot of that's chalked up to Ohio State being the better team for this particular game. Do I think it's the better team overall? I don't think that, but only one way to show that is on the field, and they proved me wrong in that manner, right? I said it was going to be a tough game, that if anybody had any type of definitive process or definitive way that they believed that this one would go, that they were lying to themselves and they were a homer. And I believe I was deadly accurate with that, because that game still could have gone either way. Ends up 20-14, I believe. And yeah, ball bounce here, the ball bounce there, maybe on both sides, right? But what happens if there's no penalty on the sack and scoop and score from Penn State? It's a whole different ball game, right? But listen, you create your own way in this game, and I will never, ever blame the referees for some shit, right? I'll leave that to casual fans. You'll never hear me crying about that shit. Real kids who played the game know that you get calls on your side just like they get calls on their side. The shit evens itself out, right? Paying attention to a holding here and a holding there or whatever like that when it's for your team, and then not focusing on that for the other team, to me, just shows me you're just a casual fan. So you won't hear that coming from me. No excuses out there. Ohio State was the better team there, and there was no answer for that man, right? What did I say too? I said that the difference could actually come down to one player who could have been and should have been on the other side of the coin, being Philadelphia's own Marvin Harrison. Once again, no answer for Marvin Harrison. I actually got my wish for a little bit, and Kalen King was shadowing Marvin Harrison, but he was giving him that prison loving, so it did not matter. Marvin Harrison cannot be stopped by anyone on the Penn State defense, and couldn't be stopped by the scheme as well. They were doing a good job of running the outside receiver off when it seemed like we were in more of bell coverage or even quarters coverage, right? Where we're working over the top coverage from there, right? Just to not get beat over the top. I actually wondered if it was be better for them to beat us over the top and really make it tough for them in the quick game. Given you would think that the reason why we were doing that was because we figured that our pass rush could get there, right? But it's left a lot of open looks, left a lot of underneath drag routes, right? Where he's able to go from one side to the other. And you already ran the corner off because he's on a vertical bell and there's nobody over there. Great scheming by Ryan Day. Great adjustments by Ryan Day there. It's not like they had an easy day though, right? They still had a tough time with Penn State's defense, just like we had a tough time with their defense. So we'll get to the offensive side of the ball in a minute. You know I got to address that defense. So I still saw the usual cast of characters. Adisa Isaac was doing his thing there. Abdul Carter was making his presence known. Kobe King, right, making his presence known on the field pre or during the end post snap, right? Him getting costly penalty as well. Like, come on, man. When you're playing a team that's your equal in Ohio State or any team that's your equal, you can't give them shit. You can't stop a man. You did a great job of stopping them, right? They're going to have to go to third down or whatever like that, or I forget which down it was. And then you just go and push the guy for no reason. You had him hemmed up, then you just push him, right? And he flops and falls to the ground, and they get a fresh set of downs. Little shit like that can change the balance of a game when the teams are even. No doubt about that. Now, listen, on the other side of the ball, we'll stay right there as well. Kalen King, not ready for prime time, right? I was thinking he could be the best corner in the nation. He may very well be that, but it just goes to show you how great Marvin Harrison is, especially when he's being schemed up by a Ryan Day. Unbelievable. Unbelievable for him to still have 11 catches or for however many yards he had after doing that last season. And there was Joey Porter Jr. there last season, and he still couldn't be stopped as well. So I said it before. That's the best wide receiver that I've seen in a long time. And I've seen some great wide receivers for sure. And he's better than them. He combines everything you could want in a wide receiver. He's undoubtedly one of these guys who should be a top 10 pick at the wide receiver position, maybe even top 5. And I'm always the one that say, I don't want to draft wide receivers that high. But if you find yourself a Julio Jones type and all those guys like that, you got to at least think about it. And he is definitely that. So no answer for him. The rest of them guys, not really, but allowing the middle of the field. Having no answer for Cade Stover on seam routes and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of doomed it as well. They were able to kind of move the ball there. And they got just enough, right? It was just enough for them to pass. And it does not matter. If you went by an inch or a mile, you won. That's it. Not kicking a field goal. Switch the offense. Not kicking a field goal and being conservative or throwing the ball when you could have run the ball. You got 3rd and 1 or whatever it is. Do the QB sneak. Do the brotherly shove or whatever it has to do to continue to move the ball and take the points. You're not going to run off on Ohio State. You're not proved this year that despite the type of points that they had, that Penn State was that type of an offense. I said it before. Can't generate explosive plays against inferior opponents. Probably going to be pretty tough to do it against your equal. Don't have the wide receivers for that. Lambert Smith, Trey Watson, all these guys, I don't think these guys would start, right, on a 2017 or if Chris Godwin is there or KJ Hamler or Jahan Dotson. You're not starting those guys. These guys are middling, right? These guys are, to me, mid-level or mid-round draft picks to undrafted free agent types. That's just what it is. But the damn tight ends to me are early round draft picks. Tyler Warren and Theo Johnson. What happened to 13 personnel? What happened to playing small ball, playing physical football? Mike Yurcich outthought himself. Mike Yurcich trying to be a hero and have Drew Aller, who is young in his development, right? He looks the part. Obviously, he will be the part eventually, but he's not there yet. You can tell that with inferior opponents. So having him try to be that guy against Ohio State, come on, man. What the fuck is you thinking about, dude? like, come on, man. Mike Yurcich has been in his bag the entire year with all these creative things, and then he just shit the bed. People go and blame Coach Franklin. Whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Everybody going to blame Frankie anyway. So I ride with Coach Franklin till the wheels fall off, and they had a good game plan. They recruited. Their personnel is there. They did not win the game, no doubt about that, man. But you got to look at that damn offensive effort. It was horrific. Absolutely horrific. I do not understand what Mike Yurcich was doing. Now, it's still about execution. Whatever players called, it can be executed, and it starts up front. I said the deal before. The offensive line to me was kind of scary because against teams that you don't think have an Ohio State type talent, they weren't really opening up the holes correctly. Some of the pass protection was a little faulty. When you step up in competition, those things become an even bigger weakness. And it was glaring to me against inferior teams. You knew it was going to be a problem against Ohio State, and it was. So Drew Aller under pressure, having to hurry up throws. He was severely inaccurate. He had happy feet. He was tap dancing and shit, right? You know what I mean? He was Ben Vereen out this motherfucker. He was tapping. I'll give him that shit, but I don't know. That's frustrating right there, man. No targeting of the tight end, right? I said it in the group chat. Like, target these guys early, right? Quick hitting plays and make Ohio State tackle. I'm not so sure Eichenberg and Steele Chambers and these guys can just continue to tackle a Tyler Warren or stick with them in coverage. I don't think that's their game. But you played into their hands with that shit that you were doing. And they were inviting you to do this shit too, because regardless of what your boy Joel Klatt was saying on the telecast, keeping a post safety or closing off the middle of the field does not prevent deep plays. To me, that lets me know that your ass is worried about the run game because you're letting a defender sniff in the box. You're bringing a defender down into the box and having them sniff. So, you know what I mean? But them's the breaks, right? When you go outside of yourself. It's a tight end-centric team. I said that before. You should be in 12 and 13 personnel. You should be running that power T formation. You should be doing all the shit that you've been doing before because the defense is going to allow you to stay in the game regardless. Then it becomes a field position game. Then it becomes, hey, kick some field goals. Stay out of the penalty box, right? Stop getting penalties. Do your thing there. No turnovers. That's how Penn State wins football games in this iteration of it. Maybe next year it can be different, But this year, right, the blueprint was already set. You have to be who you are. Come on, man. I'll come back with a little bit of a film study at a later date here, but I wanted to kind of go over a couple of things here. So if you're working with this type of underneath coverage right here, to where you will bail out Dixon right here, instead of having him try his best to follow Marvin Harrison in man coverage, you bail him out, you roll coverage, right? You get that motion player right there. They're going to roll coverage. So they're smart. They're sending people out. They're going to have Kalen King here, right, evacuate the building because Ryan Day is scheming it up. Look at that. Your roll coverage there. Now you got Abdul Carter tasked with trying to corral Marvin Harrison. He immediately takes an outside approach, right? Outside leverage right there. Look at that. Early pandemic separation, right? That's that shit right there Dr. Fauci wanted, right? You can't do nothing with social distancing like that but get beat. Is he going to run down Marvin Harrison in an open field right there where Kalen King already ran off? Nobody's over here. They ran him off. They knew that he was going to be working vertically. Nothing you can do about that. That is great scheming by Ryan Day. Tasking your best player with just making plays, giving him the airspace and opportunity to make plays. Now, I'm not totally mad about the defense. Defense still played a damn good game, having sacks and turnovers and everything like that. Got to get a little bit more discipline, right? You play football, especially the cornerback position, with your feet, not with your hands. Way too much damn holding going on in transitions. If somebody's coming in and out of that break, you don't feel like you're there, just don't panic. Let them get there. You try to recover. You be in FEMA mode. Don't start grabbing and shit and being all touchy-feely and perverted and shit. Like, come on, man. Stop holding. Damn. So frustrating, man. I feel they could have done a lot better with just the little things, right? Just the little things taken care of. You can see them right there. Ran off Kalen King. And they out here blocking. Right? They can adjust well. All right, zone defense, know your assignments. You get Jalen Reed working with Curtis Jacobs here, and both follow the back out in the flat. Watch this. Both follow the back out in the flat. Now they're both in FEMA mode like, oh, damn, coach. They got us, coach. And then look, working it down right there. And even someone like Kyle McCord, right? I'm just playing. I like Kyle McCord, right? He's another Philly cat. So, but too easy. Working against them, having to work that zone defense when, shit, man up and see what you can do. Man up and see what you can do, man. Ryan Day is too smart for some of this zone shit, man. Just straight up. Now, I have to give big props to JT Tuimoloau. That mama jumper right there came alive in the second half, no doubt about that. And he was going against my boy Olu Fashanu here, and he worked himself, no doubt, into a top 5 pick. I had previous thoughts about him possibly being a little overhyped. I wanted to know about his pass rush moves. I want to know about him beyond like getting like tip passes and shit like that. He proved a lot of shit. He was getting a lot of pressure right here. We see right here, spent on him like a dreidel, and he was flushing my boy Drew Allen. This is what you had a lot of, right? Trying to go downfield. Nobody's open. What do you want Drew Allen to do with this, right? I wanted him to use his legs a lot more, but of course, right, down in distance, be damned there. This is what a lot of the shit that he had to do was scramble and just try to make shit happen, throwing across his body and all this and that. Like I said before, we know Drew Allen's going to be damn good. He is not there yet, right? I remember thinking before the season, we had talked about it in the group chat, right? In my Lions only group chat. And they were asking, we asked each other, who would you want back on this team to make it no doubt a national championship team? And I was thinking, as great as Drew Allen is, and I hate to say it, but Sean Clifford, if he were here on this particular team, and him and my other pick was, of course, Jahan Dotson, because I had a feeling about the wide receiver core there. But just little things right there. I wonder if a guy like Mike Yurcich would have calmed down a little bit more and try to be more of what Penn State is. When you're looking at Drew Allen, he makes you think that he's sitting back there as Justin Herbert, right, or Josh Allen, or whomever you want to compare him to right now, and he's not necessarily there right now. So I don't know. Maybe the limitations of a Sean Clifford. You would call a different type of game for Sean Clifford, but it left a lot to be desired. No doubt about that. Mike Yurcich did not have a good game at all. All right, last one right here with them moving Marvin Harrison all around and then being able to run Kalen King off right here. you'll see a great example of that. Running Kalen King off and bringing Marvin Harrison behind that. Now look at that. Out route there. Got Don DeLuca on the underneath coverage here. Kalen King getting ran off. Even if he wanted to try to help, he still has responsibility here with Julian Fleming. And you have Reed coming over to assist right there. You run Marvin Harrison behind there. You actually run Reed off as well. So both of these guys being run off, and then you have that man in no man's land. Come on, man. You have to give credit where credit is due. Ryan Day is an absolute monster on it, and Mike Yurcich is a monster on it too. He'll learn from this game. Still a ton of games to be played. Obviously, still a ton of big-time teams, or put it this way, there's one big-time team, we'll get to that another time there, still left on the schedule. Perhaps the best team in all of college football. But then you have some guys that have some pretty nice records as well, right? Unapologetically, you know who I am, Jersey Murf. I rep Jersey, Rutgers, right? My squad, beyond my squad, has a damn good record right now, and they could run off a pretty good record and be on the schedule as well. They're on the schedule as well, so knocking off Rutgers there, beating that team, that other team that I won't talk about right now, Maryland and teams like that still have a lot of shit ahead of you, man. It's not over until it's over. Going to need some help, no doubt about that, right? Going to need Michigan to beat Ohio State, and I don't know where it would go beyond that, though, but we shall see. So all the goals to me are still ahead of you because, you know, man, you play to win every game anyway, so just continue on there. But yeah, it's frustrating. No doubt I wanted this one bad. I've been thinking about it. Technical difficulties there, but I don't know what I was saying. But I do know that, like I said before, all the goals are ahead of them, and we're going to continue on that trail. You see Ohio State next year, you know what I mean, or possibly even in the playoffs. You just never know how these things go. Big Ten definitely playing some really good football this year. And you got your usual cast of characters, though, in the Southeastern Conference not looking as good. So you never know how to go, man. Keep the faith right there. We'll keep trekking on because we are, regardless. I love this team. And, yeah, we still going on, baby. So make sure you keep it locked right here. Make sure you tell a friend to keep it locked right here. If you want those Penn State film studies, man, I try to get to them when I can. But you got to make sure you're sharing because sharing is caring. And make sure you're sending in that quality support to keep the coverage going as well, man. It's a business out here, so we got to treat it as such. All right, your boy Jersey Murf in the building. Much love to all my Penn Staters out there. We are Go State.
What more can I say?
Top Billin.